During World War II, most Americans viewed Japanese people as the enemy. Reacting out of fear, the government violated rights of its own citizens.
This is the story of one man's fight to make it right. Doyo Saburo Korematsu was the third of 4 sons born to Japanese parents in Oakland, California. He got the name Fred from a teacher who was unable to pronounce his Japanese name. His parents ran a flower nursery. On December 7, 1941, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor.
When the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, our west coast became a potential combat zone. Living in that zone were more than 100,000 persons of Japanese ancestry, 2/3 of them American citizens, 1/3 aliens. We knew that some among them were potentially dangerous. Most were loyal. But no one knew what would happen among this concentrated population if Japanese forces should try to invade our shores. Military authorities therefore determined that all of them, citizens and aliens alike, would have to move.
Fearing Japanese Americans might aid the enemy, President Roosevelt signed an executive order, forcing West Coast Japanese into internment camps. But the U.S. made no effort to distinguish between loyal and disloyal Japanese Americans. There were no hearings or trials held to determine if they did anything wrong or were dangerous. Every family was issued a number that had to be worn and visible at all times. Half of those detained were children. Korematsu's family received military orders to move to the Tenfuran Assembly Center. But Fred, age 23, stayed behind. He got minor plastic surgery on his eyes and fake ID to avoid being recognized as Japanese. Posing as Spaniard Clyde Serra, Fred was arrested 2 months later when the police discovered he could not speak Spanish. He was sent to live in the horse stalls at the Tenfuran Relocation Center. Placed in a horse stall with 1 light bulb, he later remarked that jail was better than this. After 6 months, he was sent by train on a 2-day journey to Utah.
Evacuation. More than 100,000 men, women, and children, all of Japanese ancestry, removed from their homes in the Pacific Coast states to wartime communities established in out-of-the-way places. Their evacuation did not imply individual disloyalty, but was ordered to reduce a military hazard at a time when danger of invasion was great. 2/3 of the evacuees are American citizens by right of birth. The rest are their Japanese-born parents and grandparents. The people are not under suspicion. They are not prisoners. They are not internees. They are merely dislocated people, the unwounded casualties of war. The time, spring and summer of 1942. The place, 10 different relocation centers in unsettled parts of California, Arizona, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, and Arkansas.
They arrived at Topaz with only what they could carry: clothing, bedding, and small personal items. The concentration camp at Topaz greeted them with a suffocating dust storm.
And here we have the dust storm. This was taken on a warm Sunday afternoon, and everyone had to keep their windows closed, shut tight. And it was very hot, no air conditioning, and the wind blew and the dust blew, and the dust would come inside the cracks in the windows and the doors. And you stay cooped up inside your barrack.
The camp consisted of 408 buildings, surrounded by barbed wire and guard towers with armed soldiers.
Each family, upon arrival at a relocation center, was assigned to a single-room compartment, about 20 by 25 feet. Barren, unattractive. A stove, a light bulb, cots, mattresses, and blankets. Those were the things provided by the government.
The flimsy buildings were covered in black tar paper, making it stifling hot in the summer, and providing no insulation for the bitter cold winter. Temperatures were below zero in the winter and over 100 degrees in the summer. For many internees, the lack of privacy was one of their biggest complaints, along with barely drinkable water, bad food, and swarms of mosquitoes during the summers. Most accepted their fate with shikatakanai, a common saying at the camps meaning it cannot be helped. Fred was shunned by others. They viewed him as a troublemaker for challenging military orders. Working 8 hours per day at the camp, Fred earned only $12 per month. The Japanese treated this situation with gaman, enduring the unbearable with dignity and silence. If you have a feeling that something is wrong, don't be afraid to speak up. Fred claimed the president and military authorities did not have the power to issue relocation orders. He was being discriminated against based on his race. The government argued that evacuation was necessary to protect the country. Fred appealed the federal court decision, and his case came before the U.S. Supreme Court. The Supreme Court stated that the need to protect the country was a greater priority than the individual rights of the Japanese and Japanese Americans. 3 judges dissented. Moreover, the military order is not reasonably related to the dangers it seeks to prevent. Years passed before the shame of the criminal record turned to pride at his lonely stand against military power. President Ford terminates the executive order, which Roosevelt suspended, and apologizes. We now know what we should have known then. Not only was that evacuation wrong, but Japanese Americans were and are loyal Americans. A historian discovered evidence that the U.S. knew Japanese Americans posed no threat to the country during World War II. The order was based entirely on racial discrimination rather than military necessity. A team of lawyers volunteered to fight Fred's case for free. They wanted to correct the historical record that branded Japanese Americans as disloyal during World War II. Attack the precedent that allowed an entire minority group to be imprisoned without charges or hearings. Overturn the conviction of this courageous man who stood up virtually alone to challenge the government's racially discriminatory actions. During the litigation, U.S. Justice Department lawyers offered a pardon to Korematsu if he would agree to drop his lawsuit. Fred refused. As long as my record stands in federal court, any American citizen can be held in prison or concentration camps without a trial or a hearing. I would like to see the government admit that they were wrong and do something about it so that this will never happen again to any American citizen of any race, creed, or color. In 1983, 4 decades after the Supreme Court decision, Fred Korematsu's conviction was overturned by Judge Marilyn Hall Patel in a federal court in San Francisco. In 1988, President Reagan signed the Civil Liberties Act. The U.S. admitted wrongdoing, apologized to the survivors, and paid each $20,000. He received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Clinton, who compared him to civil rights heroes such as Rosa Parks. Fred's the epitome of an ordinary man who, under extraordinary circumstances, became heroic. One person can make a difference, even if it takes 40 years. The U.S. government should not let the same thing happen to the people of Middle Eastern descent as what happened to the Japanese. No one should ever be locked away simply because they share the same race, ethnicity, or religion as a spy or terrorist. If that principle was not learned from the internment of Japanese Americans, then these are very dangerous times. Fred Korematsu died March 30th, 2005 at age 86. Fred Korematsu Day is held in California each year on his birthday to commemorate his journey as a civil rights activist. Today, we remember the dangers of casting stereotypes on entire communities, and we recommit to our country's ideals of protecting civil rights and promoting an environment where people can strive to achieve the American dream based on the content of one's character, not the color of one's skin.